some process.
Thank you. Next opponent, please.
Chairman and committee members, my name is Susan Smith and I'm from Billings, Montana. And I address you today with a heavy heart. What you are proposing in this bill is clearly wrong. I represent my family, Safe Community, Safe Kids, and thousands of concerned individuals across the state of Montana. For the last 11 months, our group has been studying this, researching it, talking to people all across the state of Montana, thousands of people. I hope you've read a lot of their comments in the last little while that we have given you. They're pretty discouraging. We cannot, these people that I represent, support a middle-of-the-ground bill, which this is. We are for a repeal. I believe Jeff referred to Yellowstone County a number of times, and excuse me if I don't refer to it correctly, but in our petition drive that we did in 14 of those 17 House districts, we qualified in 14 of those 17, so that would relate to some of you that are on this committee today. And they qualified with more than 5%, many of them over 16% of the people that want to have this completely repealed. I think that speaks volumes. Also, to some of you on the committee, as we studied the initial initiative that was voted upon, there were several counties, complete counties, that did not vote for it at all, and some of you are sitting on that committee today. Just the fact that this bill is 50 pages long sends up a lot of red flags. If I were the MPP, this would be the perfect model legislation, who initially, by the way, put this into the Citizens Initiative on the ballot. And this is the way I would have it written if I were from the MPP. There are many loopholes, as we have discovered today. And this bill is riddled with MPP model legislation whose end game is to ultimately legitimize and legalize marijuana. This is very cunning and well crafted, I might add, and very complex, resurrecting House Bill 66 and adding it, or 68 and adding it to it. This is not what Montanans voted for. I think you have underestimated the intelligence of Montanans. No matter how you label it, marijuana is still a Schedule I dangerous, illegal drug. It is not the job of citizens, lay public, the legislature, or citizens' initiatives to determine the use of this illegal drug and to bypass the process of the FDA to approve and monitor drugs and medical devices. This is, again, creating an industry. This is not what the people voted for. It is growing government. It is creating another arm of government, legitimizing a state-sanctioned and licensed grow operation, growing illegal drugs regulated by the PSC. Really putting too much trust in the Judiciary department. The cost to the state, again, would be huge, not only economically and socially, but in lives as well. This bill has too much room for corruption. I have to agree with those things that have been said earlier. Even if we state it as a therapeutic drug now, what is the difference between medicine and therapeutic? It all goes back to the same thing, to a very illegal drug. Courier, assistant, what's the difference between a courier, an assistant, and a drug trafficker? I don't see the difference. Are you kidding me? Cloning, genetic coding a drug, this I think presents a lot of problems down the road. My final question, have you really considered the consequences of enacting this bill and the accountability that you will have to the state of Montana for the choices that you make in supporting this bill? Repeal is the answer. And I would just like to give a thanks to those who have stood their moral ground in regard to a repeal. Thank you.
Next opponent, please.